says live broadcast. That's good. Okay.
Hey everybody, we're live on YouTube. Getting the link shared out real quick. This music is by a friend of mine, Carl L. Noonan.
Okay. So I just shared it with 5. Hold on. Did I share the right one? See it here.
Okay. Got the link shared.
Okay. All right. So I shared that first link, and there's actually a link that they can click on. So that's good.
All right, a little music to start the show. How you doing, Mike? What's
Doing
going
good.
on?
Doing good. Well, there's been a lot of there's been a lot of stuff happening this week. I've fell down a couple of rabbit holes, and I've been finding a lot of stuff. It's actually my first couple of rabbit holes that I personally have fallen down. Usually, I'm just sent links, and I look at the link, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, and that's it. I
Right.
had an epiphany, and I jumped down my own rabbit hole, and I found out some pretty interesting information. So
I'll tell you what, these rabbit holes are all over the place. They're dangerous. You can fall in one without even thinking about it. Oh no, it's 5 hours later. There I went down another rabbit hole.
yeah,
But
well, I mean that's what I'm saying is I had this I guess you could call it a psychic energy wave hit me, and I could not figure it out. And I just kept asking, what am I looking for? What do I need? What is this that I'm trying to figure out?
yeah.
And as soon as I stopped trying, I heard, look this up. And I found out. I think I found an election golden goose. I also
Yes.
found something about a special boot that I
Yes.
want to I want to read a summary of.
Okay.
So that's it's very interesting stuff. I actually didn't even know about the first topic. I didn't even know about
All right. Let's get
it
into
at
that
all.
first topic. What
Well,
is
that
that?
first topic, it's the Electoral Commission, and it's very interesting because it didn't exist in like 1865, 1870. It didn't exist. It actually was created in 1867 or 1877, sorry, to combat a fraudulent um, election back in
Okay.
1876. It was Tilden versus Hayes. And there was huge discrepancies in the voting and huge fraud in the voting. Even back then, they were stuffing the ballot boxes, and they said that Tilden won,
Okay.
who was to be a Democrat back then. And Hayes was like, no, this isn't right. I thought maybe I have a link, I could read it, but I think it's just going to be easier just to summarize what I found, because
Okay.
it's a long passage of what happened. So what ended up happening is they had to issue an electoral commission because of how much fraud was suspected and found in
Okay.
a couple of similar states actually that we're dealing with right now. The states were Florida, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina.
Okay.
The two biggest states that obviously coincides with now is Pennsylvania and Georgia.
Okay.
So when they had to hire 5 people from the House, 5 people from the Senate, and 4 Supreme Court justices.
Okay.
And then the 4 Supreme Court justices had to then hire somebody as like a I can't think of the word, a mediator of the whole operation. And believe it or not, there were rhinos back then, just like there are rhinos today. And I
Some
wish
things
I
just
have
never change.
exactly. I find this guy's name because
Okay.
I cannot remember his name because there were two names thrown around, and I just want to make sure I get the proper name of who the Supreme Court justice hired. Um, the okay, don't pop up. The first name that they tried to hire was, where is it? Okay, I'm not gonna sit here freaking out trying to find it.
Okay.
But the guy that they did hire, alleged, initial at the end, was Republican leader William E. Chandler,
Yeah.
and he was the guy who basically. Oh wait, maybe it was this guy.
Your camera has
Now
frozen
I'm
up, by
second
the way.
guessing myself. It's frozen. Probably is it back?
Nope.
Okay, it's probably because I have this thing popped up. Um. Okay, so the dispute was resolved between the Republican. Okay, that's Hayes and Tilden. Okay, so the Democrats approved the person to deal with it because of his history. William E. Chandler. That's the name I remember.
Okay.
So with that said, they okay. Is my camera back?
Yes.
Okay. So William E. Chandler was a left-leaning Republican, and with the my wife just came home. Um, Left-leaning Republican. She wants to say hello.
Hey, honey.
uh, the left-leaning Republican went to Florida first, where I guess there was more fraud in Florida. It might have
Mhm.
even been the least amount of fraud in Florida, but either way, he went to Florida first, and he was going to give the electoral votes to Tilden,
Okay.
but he had pressure. He had pressure from the Republicans in Florida, the legislators in Florida, and he was. I guess he was threatened. From what I remember reading, there was threat and pressure from the right, and he goes, "All right, you know what? I'm going to give the votes to Hayes." Well,
Okay.
after he gave the votes to Hayes, it actually started a chain reaction of all the other battleground states, and they all went to Hayes. So
Oh, wow.
Til, yeah. So Tilden had 185 electoral votes. Back then, you only needed, oh, I'm sorry, 184 electoral votes, and you only needed 185 back then.
Okay.
And he was 1 point away from taking the presidency. And when all the states flipped, the Electoral Commission decided to give the one more vote because after the states flipped, it gave Hayes 184. And the Electoral Commission decided we're just going to give him the other vote because there's nowhere to get any more votes. So we're just
Yeah.
giving him that one more electoral vote to make him win. Well, the South was not very happy with the decision of the Electoral Commission. They were very upset because they won. They won the election, and then for it to just flip around and all of a sudden all those votes went to Hayes.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't riot and stuff like that. It's totally different times, and it was just something that was saying this has got to be the election golden goose. If all else fails, all he's got to do is hit the button and activate the Electoral Commission to go in and personally investigate the fraud. And now with internet and lawyers after lawyers who want to step up to fight for this country, it would be kind of easy just for them to be like the legislator. Because think, how many of the battleground states are Republican run? How many of the Republican run states are just going to hire the legislators to vote their way? So it really bottlenecks to the point of when is he going to activate the Electoral Commission? That's really what it boils down to.
Well, from what I've seen, there's many different avenues that can be taken. There's not
Okay.
just one. There are
Yes.
many,
Yes.
many.
Yes.
And I'm just going to hit you with where I come from, come at it from.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Uh, I know they're using Looking Glass.
Yes. Yes. We've
Okay.
had a conversation about that. I know what you're talking about.
And they know what the next best possible move is. As long as they've got Looking Glass, they know which one of these 7 or 8 different avenues is the best one, if not pursuing several at once.
Exactly.
Okay. I think they know the peaceful protests are going to break out
Okay.
afterwards. Now, did you see where there was something I wanted to pull up Santa Surfing covered last night?
Okay.
Let me just pull that up. And that video you sent me today,
Yes.
where the guy was talking about what happened in Georgia, was it?
Yes. The accident, the car accident.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me more about that. What was going on?
Uh,
Is that similar with history where they were threatening that other guy?
um, it would. Yeah. I mean, they were giving him a lot of pressure. Like it was a short but long insert that I read, and he was going to definitely vote for the Democrat, and they changed his mind. It took a long time. Actually, the inauguration is supposed to be on January 20th, and
Hmm.
it ended up being on February 23rd, and the very next day they inaugurated Hayes. And it was
Oh,
one of
wow.
the longest of yes, it was one of the longest election processes ever. And it actually was even longer than the John Quincy Adams fiasco, when John Quincy Adams stole the election due to the House legislation of that the House had to vote. Now that's a whole nother story in itself. John Quincy Adams only had 83 electoral votes, while his opponent, who was right winging candidate, he had 99 electoral votes, but neither of them had enough votes to win the election, because there were many different political candidates that ran that year. 1824, just so that people can look it up if they wanted to dive into it. 1824, they had probably five candidates on the ticket, which we don't even we don't even really see that anymore
Yeah.
today. Um, but they had five people on the stage, basically, for the debates and stuff like that, on different parties, the Freedom Party and the Liberty Party and stuff like that. And none of the candidates had any enough votes to win the presidency, so it had to go to the House legislation, where they all vote. And he had John Quincy Adams had um, the majority in the House, and boom, he got elected, which was basically the first election steal that has ever existed in American history. And now all the people on the left right now are crying, it's the first time someone tried to steal the election this way. And they're talking about Trump trying to steal the election.
Right. Well,
And
it's projection.
yes, yes. So
It-
with with the fact that that happened back then, and then 20 years later, they had another scenario to where 40 years later, they had another scenario to where they had to flip the vote because of election fraud. You can almost suspect that each time they've had a huge falling out with the election, that there's been major fraud, ballot stuffing, or whatever you want to call it. So, I mean, it's just very systematic that every time that there is a battle with the election, that there's got to be some kind of fraud involved.
Well, at this point, it's ridiculous with the fraud. If we're doing fraud at this point, it's by choice. In 2004, Blockbuster had it down. We need to hire retired team from Blockbuster to handle the votes. Seriously. But if Blockbuster could handle things the way they did, there's no excuse for the votes to be this sloppy at this point. There's
Yeah.
just no excuse. I mean, the only reason it is because they want it to be that way.
Yes.
Okay, I've got this queued up, and hopefully I have it queued up at the right place. And if it's too loud, please let me know, because this is my first time to use this stream software. Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll just let it play out. And if I hold up like a finger or a hand to say something, or if I can't hear what you're saying, I can't hear anything. Did you cue it up? Hello? Something froze. Kimberly, something crashed. Oh, her computer crashed or something. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. Hold on, guys. Who's ever watching? If anybody's watching, we're trying to figure this out. Everybody in chat here. I don't see any good chat. Chat's not activated.
Oh. Are you still on?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Someone, Kimberly crashed though. I don't know what's going on.
How has he been out for?
He probably needs to wake up.
What happened?
All right, everybody. We're just waiting for Kimberly to get back on here. May have been a computer crash or something, but I'm gonna keep going on what I was talking about with the election and stuff. She's right about there being a whole bunch of different avenues that they could go about trying to figure out what's up with this election. Up, it looks like she's coming back.
My whole computer froze up.
Oh man, oh man. I was just about to start. Keep talking on what was going on, what I was saying, to kill the flat time, but
It's okay. I'm going to see if I can pull up this one video, see if I can share the screen on this one, because
okay,
this one I think is the most important video for all of us to see, as for
okay,
what is actually going on right now behind the
okay,
scenes.
okay.
Okay. And so let me see if I can do this, and let's hope it doesn't crash everything. I closed all the open tabs. I had things lined up to share, but that won't happen. Not with this computer.
Yeah. if I get my computer that I want to build, I'm gonna actually build a computer. I'm gonna start it just before Christmas. I'm gonna start buying some parts, and hopefully, just after my birthday in January, I'll have just enough to run a good program, and
Yeah.
then maybe I could just get the program that you got, install it under my stuff, and then I can run it off of my well-built, fully loaded computer, so that we don't experience crashes.
All right. Well, this guy speaks like right.
Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleash Ocean Secrets. We've been putting out a lot of info
Jaco, I
the
know this
last
guy.
couple of days. So,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Come on. This computer, my connection is never this slow. It just happens to do this when I'm attempting to do this. This is crazy because I have the best connection ever until I try to go live. I'm not going to call that a badge of honor just
had
yet.
some excellent
Yeah.
guests.
Not just yet.
Really been a lot of stuff on the side too.
You might need to stop it and see if the video is going to buffer, unless you just crashed again. Yeah, it looks like she just crashed again.
So
Something froze up. Oh.
Having
Leakless about Jacob, what he talked about catching all these planes, all this activity.
Oh, your volume. Says you're muted. First stream hiccups. You have to click on your microphone, I think. I think you muted your
Got
microphone
it.
by accident. There you go.
No, it wasn't that. It's that my computer slowed down to molasses. I could see what I needed to click. I was just waiting for my mouse to reach the button. That's all. It's a brand new computer too, y'all.
Oh man. Maybe
That's
we'll have
all
a
I'm saying.
conversation about building a computer or something. I'll talk to you off stream.
No, I don't need that conversation. No. All right. So there's a lot of military activity going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of military planes in the air. We're not being told because for some reason the news isn't telling us what's going on.
Okay.
So that means they're either in on it or they're not being told what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it comes to a point where you really can't rely on the mainstream media to report on anything big. I was at work, and I'm almost positive we haven't had the president in New Jersey in the past week or two, but I swear I heard a military plane zoom in somewhere obviously in earshot. I mean, it's a military plane, of course it's in earshot.
Well, my kids
Zooming
went
over at
live
my.
the other night with a whole bunch of activity with Air Force One and Two in the middle of the night or late at night.
Yeah. Okay.
You might want to go back and see if that correlates.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it, because there was something going on, and I was looking all over the sky. I was like, it's got to be somewhere. It's got to be somewhere, and it went faint. It went real faint, and then it went real loud again. And I'm looking at it. I was like, it's got to be behind the building, because I can't see it here. And I mean, I work at a place. It's a whole open sky. But except the building behind me, you can't see anything, because it's not only building, there's woods. So it was interesting to hear that for no reason. It seemed like no reason to have a military plane zooming over New Jersey like that. So, and there was no other planes in the sky too. So it wasn't like a practice or anything like that. It was a legitimate reason for a plane to be zooming by.
He went live, and I want to say it was about 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere in there, saying that there
Okay.
was a lot of activity, and he showed the maps. It was over the East Coast. It looked pretty interesting. Didn't know what was going on. Did
Okay.
not know what was going on. Something was going on. One thing I was going to pull up with the Santa video where everything locked down was She had in her video where Trump is calling for armed patriots.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
I think I heard somebody talking about this. I haven't seen the actual video, but I heard somebody talking about the Patriots getting ready.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, I guess they know this is what it looks like to me. Okay. Just from
Okay.
my little girl point of view. They know they're fixing to turn some things around. And it's going to be
Okay.
to the point where the mainstream media will have to see it. Doesn't mean they're going to have to report on it, but at that point, it'll be their choice. And
Yes.
I think that peaceful protesters are planning to take to the street. They seem to have been staying in nice hotels and waiting for the moment for their light, their moment in the sun, and their 15 minutes of fame.
Yes.
I don't believe they would be calling patriots to be ready if they didn't know it wasn't imminent.
Yes. Yes. Well, remember in the first presidential debate, he said the Proud Boys have to, step back, stand down, and stand by. He specifically said stand by,
Right.
and that could be interpreted however you want to
All right.
interpret it.
Look. I'm gonna divert into funny, right?
Okay.
Okay. So one of my friends who's on the other side of the fence did this all feely emotional post about, could you imagine if your man, if you asked him if he had a hoe on the side and he didn't deny it and he said he told her to stand by, stand down and stand by. And all these people were like, "Oh yeah, that's so horrible because my feelings and ooh, I would hate that." So here my rough self came and I commented and I said, "Well, if you was the kind of wife that was lying, stealing, cheating, and and hurting the children, well, and you asked me if I had a hoe, you'd be lucky if you didn't see her right there appear right beside you right then as I was walking out the door."
I have a little patriot who wants to say hi real quick. Hold on. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, my little stink pot.
Right on.
There he is. Say
Right
hi.
on.
Oh. Yeah, so he just wants to step in real quick and say hello. He's just waking up from his little nap. So,
Oh, wait.
Right on. Right
gonna say
on.
anything? Gonna say anything? No. Oh. Okay. Well, there's his 30 seconds of fame.
Oh, come here.
He'll get more, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right.
How much longer?
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it's a good comparison to what was being talked about in that first debate. So I mean, yeah.
Yes. So yes, we do have them. We do have hosts standing by without a doubt.
Well, the thing is they would probably stand by even if nobody said anything.
Well,
There,
that's what
there's
they
there's a
do.
lot
That's
of
what they
active,
do.
yeah. There's a lot of
That's
active.
what they
I'm
do.
actually friends with somebody who was talking to me about some stuff, and he says that they're always ready. The problem is they don't have numbers, and that's like the scary thing is maybe they do have the numbers, but they're spread out and they're quiet. They're hush hush. They're like, okay, well, we have to wait for that moment because if we act before that moment, we're breaking the law. If we act after that moment, we're going to be too late. So maybe they are all just standing by. Who I mean, we don't know.
But we don't know. What we do know is they're not as well organized as the peaceful protesters. However, I
Yeah.
do believe the peaceful protesters are starting to lose some of their funding. I do believe some of the things they've been promised are showing that they're not going to come to fruition.
Hmm. Well,
It's gonna be
Georgie Porgy might be
right.
dwindling his funds.
It's beginning to look a lot like it must. Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah,
I've really divorced myself from watching all of this, to be honest with you, because I
yeah.
really have a trust and a faith that it's going to turn out the way it's supposed to turn out.
Well, I actually just watched a video right before we came on. Actually, can't remember the guy's name, but at the end of it, he said, uh, he goes, "God spoke to me. God told me, do not worry about January 20th. There is nothing to worry about on January 20th because T will be inaugurated." I'm like, okay, well, can't argue with a message from God.
Well, Jaco said right after the election, he said this is what he laid out. And I do believe we may see this.
May.
We may not. We're in the land of possibility. Anything could happen right now.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
he said that they were going to roll out and show the American public what they voted for with B.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that the need to recount the votes would not be as great as the need to satisfy the people that were horrified by what they voted for.
Yes, yes, I totally see where you're coming from. Totally, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna,
things may get more interesting before they get less interesting. It's a hell of a show, man.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
It's
a hell of a show.
well, a good segue into what you're just recently talking about is there's another article I want to read. I don't know if I want to read all of it because I know it's going to freeze my camera here. Um, but it's a very good article, and it was actually on a website. Should I say the website?
Yeah.
Okay, it was on beforeitsnews.com,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a article written by Judy Bington. Pretty sure because
Byington?
it was the yeah, Byington. Okay, Byington, Judy Byington, and it was very interesting. It was actually about you sang that little Gitmas song, and the headline of the article says O B and a certain CIA director. I
Right.
don't know if I should say her name,
Yeah, go ahead.
but uh, uh, Gina Hespel.
That's enough, Gina. Yeah. I've heard that she got shot. You froze up.
The article. I wanted to read some of the article because it's not a very long article,
Go
but
ahead.
it really lays out a lot of stuff going on. Well, she says that evidently Bo has been arrested in Hawaii and charged with espionage, and that's according to the Assistant Attorney General of National Security. His name is Johnny.
Okay.
I'm not going to go further into that, but that was on Saturday, November 28th. Okay. Um, then we have some stuff here about the former VP. He's wearing a boot. He's wearing a brace on his foot now, and
I know, right?
they think it might be hiding something.
Your camera froze up again.
Yeah, well, because I have the article pulled up, and I think it's stopping the camera.
Okay.
But so that this was 2 weeks after.
Now I've lost him completely.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'm just going to summarize it. I'm not going to try to read it. But I pre-read it, so, and I pre-read it actually twice, so I got a good amount of information on there. All those people, OB, B, and good old Jeannie, uh, they uh, they were all basically arrested. Now we have Jeannie. She was injured from what the article says. She was injured in a raid in Germany. It is
Mhm.
a CIA post that had the specific software that was tabulating some certain things.
Right.
And when they were in the transport to get her some good medical attention, she broke. She decided, I want to be free. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want to be saved. And she's been singing ever since the arrest and ever since the raid and ever since everything happened. She's been pretty much telling everything that she knows about what's going on to
Okay,
stay
so
out of
that was Saturday, and then that was last Saturday.
the 28th. Yes.
Okay. Um, then all the plane activity happened this week. So yeah, that could be a result of what they got from her.
Look,
Another interesting thing that I think would be interesting to look at, because we can see all the plane activity. We're not getting reports on what's happening, but we can see a lot of military planes up over the United States right now. There's a lot of
yes.
what they call rendition flights going on.
Okay.
And usually a rendition flight, that's a nice way of saying we're strapping you down to a bed and waterboarding you
Okay.
as soon as we get out of open water.
Hmm.
And so with a lot of rendition flights going on, so you would think that a lot of information would be coming out on the other side of that. And with
Yes.
information generally comes arrest. And so if this is all really happening, we should be seeing some arrests soon. Some big arrests.
That is another video that I seen that it's coming, and actually I read an article about it, and I saw a video specifically talking about a certain arrest that recently happened.
Mhm.
B and he's the first snowflake. That's the best way to put it. He's the first snowflake of a big or a big arrest operation. So I mean, it's starting, and I think it's starting to show itself to everybody who's watching, everybody who's listening, and is awake on what's going on. I really think people are starting to just kind of put their hands back and relax and like, oh, it's happening. The avalanche is about to start.
Well, on one hand, what relaxes us is going to stress out a lot of other people.
Yes, unless it is exposed properly, so
Right.
that a lot of the people who aren't awake to this snap their eyes open and like, what did I vote for?
Right. Right. Well, I think the 100th monkey theory is coming up, that there's enough of us that have accepted what we found out from our rabbit holes and our deep dives that we've uploaded to the universal consciousness. And so that's going to be easier for them to accept it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping, because I get into, I don't mean to do it, but I get in a lot of arguments with the people on the left side, and it turns into an argument. Someone called the right a cult, and I was like, have you ever looked up the meaning of the word cult? I mean, come
Right.
on,
Right. Well,
just look up the
yes.
definition.
Yes.
They're so far off, but I was like, look, if you're going to report everybody who bad mouths your side, and then you're going to call our side a cult. I could report you, and I had a bunch of people on the street on the forum saying, "Do it, do it." It's like, no, I'm not going to fall to that level. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah. Well, it is something to watch to see what's going on with people.
Mm,
They have the whole brainwashed orange man bad.
yep. Yep. The
And
one of the arguments that I was in is someone called me an uneducated idiot, and then he took the comment down. And when I was calling him out on calling me uneducated and an idiot, he was like, "You're the only one saying it." It's like, and then I went to go look for the comment because I was going to take a screenshot, and it was
yeah,
gone. And it's like
well,
this guy, he just turned the script on me.
right. Just don't play with them.
I,
Just don't.
I've,
It's a waste of energy.
mm,
It brings your vibe down. It's not cool, and just don't play with them. And how many of them are bots anyway?
yeah, the one I was arguing, I was just telling you about. He actually, I
Hmm.
used to go to their karaoke gigs all the time.
Yeah,
So that's a
but
real
I'm just saying,
person. So
in general, we don't know how many bots there
exactly,
are out there, and
exactly.
just don't engage them.
Yeah,
There's no need. You're not going to wake them up. You're not going to educate them. They're not going to go, wow,
so
yeah,
easily
I see
asleep.
what you're saying. They're
Yeah,
going to attack you personally because you don't believe as them. So just
yeah,
move on. Move
yeah.
on. Don't lower your energy by getting in that vibe at all.
Mm-hmm.
At all.
It's a little tough because I love to act triggered, I guess you can call it, because I'm really not triggered. They throw that word around like it's confetti. Everyone's triggered. If you respond to something, you're triggered, and it's like no, that's not how the the word originated. But it's
Well, I have to
to
tell them,
to
did you see
feed.
pots and pans flying around? Because if you didn't have pots and pans flying around your house, I wasn't triggered yet, boo.
And I haven't blocked you yet, so I'm nowhere near triggered.
Right? You're not. Nah, if you didn't experience a pot whizzing by your head for no reason, I'm not triggered.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just it's to me it's a little baffling that they can literally go. I mean, the elite on the left side can literally go on TV and say, "We want this, and we'll get this no matter what." And people are like, yeah, yeah, and it's like you can't even. They're so asleep they can't see literally what's coming right at them.
They've been, this is where it's going to get a little weird. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Things have been used such as magic
Okay.
and artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And they've been, for years, they have studied humans to figure out how they will react to certain things. Believe it or not, they had a team back in the 60s that would go into grocery stores and they were monitoring you in every way they could. And they would take their cart and push in line ahead of you just to see how you would react. And they studied this. That's just
Okay.
one of the things they studied to figure out human behavior. And so they know exactly what to do, what to show you, what colors, what shapes, what ideas, what feelings to push to elicit a certain reaction.
That actually happened to me recently.
Well,
Getting
I'm
cut
just going
off
to say
in.
this.
Yeah.
Toilet
Yeah.
paper. Toilet paper was a psyop. They knew what to do, what to say, how to do it to make people panic and freak out over toilet paper. And now I
They
will
had
hush.
they had to portray a certain symptom of a certain thing as the be all and end all. You need this. You need this. You need this because of this symptom, and it flew off the shelves within that day. Within that day, it was immediate.
Mhm.
I don't know. Well,
So anyways,
we're
what I'm saying is when you look at people that are involved in this, if they're stuck to the mainstream media and they're watching TV, they've been infused not only with magic, but with AI intelligence that's based on years and years and years and years of research into human behavior. You know, they
mm-hmm.
fed all these forms into the computer, and the computer looked at it, made sense of it, and they said, okay, so you want her to dance in a yellow dress with the monkey? Well, give us a second. We'll figure out what to put in front of her to make her do that willingly.
And sometimes it's just a little bit of this, little bit.
There's a lot of that going on, but they had to be compliant at some point. They say one of the number one search things before the election, Google searches, was how much trouble do you get in for voter fraud?
Oh God.
So I'm just going to say this: everyone who searched that, they know. They
Most
know.
likely. Most likely.
They know where you live. They know your name. It's only a matter of time.
Your
They
favorite food.
know.
How many times you go to McDonald's?
Clearly part of the problem.
See, that's something else that I've actually noticed a lot is people are lining up at weird hours of the day at the fast food joints. It's something that I just recently noticed that they have these lines at like 1:30. Down the whole line is filled up and it's snaked around and it's like what?
It's
I
all
don't
good.
know. I don't know if you've noticed it, but
No, because
it's just a very strange thing that I've noticed. I'm driving down the road and I see these massive lines after lunch, and it's like, what?
no, I haven't noticed that at all. I think that this first broadcast, we've butchered the hell out of it. If anybody stays this far, it's going to be a miracle. I'm going to delete it, to be honest with you, because it's not good quality at all with all the mistakes, and I don't think
Leave it up
it'll.
for a little while and then you take it down. Make this one go away after a little while, just because some people might log on later. They might skip it a little bit because that's what I do
Yeah,
when I got
no,
when I'm on
I think it
YouTube.
needs to be. I think it needs to be deleted. The quality of what we brought compared to the mistakes and the aggravations, it doesn't balance.
Mhm.
It needs to go.
All right. Well, either way.
We're figuring it out. We're figuring it
Hmm.
out.
Hmm.
Okay. And so I'm probably just going to delete it as soon as we get done.
All right. It's
I'll mark it
hey.
private. Only people with the link can see it, but I'm going to take it off the YouTube feed.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
But
put it in your computer. Maybe also put it in your computer somewhere because some of this stuff we could probably
no,
siphon
not
into
even a
like
little.
some.
Not even
Not
a
even a
little.
little. Mm.
Nope.
All right. Well,
And it's
this was
software.
a
So
trial run.
next time I'm thinking that it was either my computer or the software. I don't know which one it was.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to play around with doing some things live, just seeing about screen share in the middle of
Yeah.
the night when nobody's
Hmm.
watching and it doesn't matter and I can see what I can share.
Yeah. So
And then just
it's
see if it's
something.
the software or if it's the other thing. But anyway, I think we need to wrap this one up.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Hey, even though the headache's been the headaches, I think it was all right for a first one, but it was. You're probably right. It's probably something that we shouldn't keep.
No.
But I personally like the information that I found. It was very
Right.
exciting to me when when
Right.
I when
But
I
I
just got the message.
want you to go back and look at it and
Okay.
watch how hard it is to view the whole thing because there were way too many distractions.
Okay.
Okay. And way too many glitches. Nobody
Okay.
would stay this long. I'm safe to say that nobody will get to this point on the video.
Okay.
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 You can't. People need crack. You need to be, and I want you to what I did when I first started podcasting was I went back and listened to everything I did so
Hmm.
that I could edit and improve. And I'm not saying you need to improve. I'm saying everybody needs to improve from their
Well, yeah.
first two podcasts.
I
Okay.
I get a stage fright, and that's part of my issue. I don't do this on an everyday thing, and it's being that I'm new at it.
Well, let me tell
I
you
know
this.
I need to get better.
Ratchet down a little bit.
Hmm.
Okay. Ratchet down a little bit, but you can't because you came on with a lot of energy. Okay.
Yes. Well, I was
And
excited about my info.
right,
I couldn't help it.
I know, I know. Calm down and just be cool because you're beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
You're beautiful.
If we could have recorded the conversation we had last night, that would have been epic.
It was a good conversation. You're right. I gotta make it more of me talking to you and work into me talking to the people.
Yes. Just talk to me. Okay.
I'll
Yes.
practice. I'll do a
You're
little
getting a
mental
lot of good
game.
information up there, and you need to be able to convey it easily and gently. Okay.
Yes. What I'm thinking about doing is trying to get the information onto like a tablet so that I can have a second device with what I need, so
Mhm.
that this way I can look at what I'm looking at and maybe summarize it a little bit better with the words so that I don't have to do it on the fly. That might help.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's the point of
All right.
doing a few.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm
We'll
telling
get
you,
there. We'll get there. We have the chemistry for it. It's just the experience on. I'm just going to take responsibility for it on my side. I don't have the full experience of it because I don't do a lot of public speaking, and I I need more practice with that. So I'll work it out.
All right. Well,
I'll
this
make
is
it
a
happen.
practice video, and I'm going to put it down as practice, and I'm going to mark it to where only people with the link can get it. And I'm probably going to take the link off my Facebook. All right.
All right. Hey, you
Love
have a
you.
good night. I love you
Okay.
too, and we'll do this again.
Next one will be much better. I love you.
Yes, love you too.